Alright, back with another video. Just finished the other one, but I wanted to talk about something that happened recently and talk about solving problems and being of worth to someone. So, just like even in relationships, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they leave, it's not like that person is the only one that can fill that gap. Now, you might feel that way for a short period of time, but it really isn't something where it's like, hey, you know, you'll never see another person fill that gap again. It's kind of like a bus. I think it was like, you know, women are like a bus, or like, you know, relationships are like a bus. So another one comes every 5 minutes, something like that. In Florida, it's every 30 minutes. But I had an issue with a vendor, and one thing that happened is, like, you know, he forgot. And, you know, I'm like, hey, listen, you know, you did this and you did it wrong, or you didn't do it to my instructions. I said, hey, I need you to do this to these 2 doors here. And when I approached him about it, and I said something to him about it, I was trying to be respectful, but at the same time, I was just like, yo, listen, what's wrong with you? Like, why did you do that? Because I told you to do it like this. I put it in the picture like this. I showed you a picture of like 3 doors, basically, that cover like 2 holes. So one door is like, one is a double door and one is just a single door by itself, or that cover 2 openings. And you went off and did a whole nother set of double doors that weren't even pictured. I didn't even ask for it. And then I got my tenant up my butt talking about, like, you know, and rightfully so. I had certain things planned, and it took me a while to get everything done because I have other things and I'm busy, so on and so forth. And the person's being very patient about it. And they're mad. And I said, hey, listen, you know, I had this person scheduled for this day, so on and so forth. They didn't come through. I ordered the part. Everything is there, because she was not threatening, but she was saying, hey, listen, I'll just get somebody else to do it and I'll take it out of my rent. And I'm like, no, there's no need to do that. I already did this. I told the guy to come. He didn't come on Friday night, and so on and so forth. I'm like, you know, this guy messed up. So I told him, and I was like, you know, I told her the text messages. So just for full transparency, I said, hey, this is what I did, or this is what I planned out, and it just didn't work out because the gentleman didn't show up. Then I sent it to him. I sent him a text message. I was like, listen, man, this is exactly what I was talking about. You didn't show up because you forgot, and then now, you know, I got to deal with it because I'm looking bad in front of my tenants, right? Now, a little bit of backstory. We had when we first got him, or we first were working with him on this new shop, my business partner was having him do work, but then, you know, my business partner wasn't paying him in like a timely fashion. And I told the guy, I was like, listen, man, the guy got mad, and, you know, we had to get him some money for his bail money and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, I apologize for that. And then I corrected that because I saw that we were wrong in that situation. But at the same time, I was like, listen, I talked to you about it, so on and so forth. He was like, man, you took months to pay me, blah, blah, blah. And even my business partner came back. He was like, listen, you took so long to pay him because he started to overcharge us. He took days on end to get this project done. And now, even till this day, we still have, like, you know, certain parts of it where it's kind of like we had wood put on the wall, and the wood in some areas are kind of falling out, and it's just kind of like, yo, that doesn't look good, and it's kind of tacky. So I have to go back and fix it myself now because we've cut ties with him, and I'll get into that. But while talking with him, let me change lanes here, get to a more comfortable spot so I can concentrate. But while talking with him, you know, this past time, he brings that up and he gets mad. You took this many months to pay me. I had death threats about people getting their work done, so on and so forth. And you guys took very long to pay me. Now that you pay me on time, or now that you pay me, now you want, what's it called? Now you want your stuff done immediately. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. He was like, man, you can miss me with all that, bro. In fact, I'm gonna give you $100 refund. And I said, all right, even better. And, you know, he gave me the refund. Took him a little while, but he gave it to me that day. Like, it took him a couple hours, and he finally sent it to me. And I was like, all right, cool. But I sent it to him, and I said, hey, listen, you're right. While you are right, we do expect a certain level of service. We had an issue before, and we corrected that. Now, anytime I call him from work, I make sure I have his money right then and there. I don't wait. I don't say anything else. Like, I make sure I have his money ready. And I corrected my behavior. I corrected my relationship with him in a sense. And I said, hey, listen, this is, you know, I'm trying to make this better. I'm trying to patch and repair this like relationship that we have. And I do this for all our vendors. You know, some of our vendors want to come and get work done. And I'm like, listen, man, hold on. Let me make sure I got the money for it. But I just want you to get me a price on it. Then I can save up towards it. Because we only have a little bit of money, and we only have a little bit of extra money at times. So I want to make sure that, hey, your money is there and there's no problems. So, I pretty much, you know, did what I had to do on my end. Now I'm expecting you to provide proper service or provide expedient service so I can get this stuff done. Like, I mean, what's so wrong about that? And I understand there's a past there. It looks bad on us. We look bad. We took a while to pay him and everything else like that. But I fixed that. Now I expect you to fix your side. He gets mad and he sends me the money. So I take the extra $100. We got to buy some TVs. So I went ahead and just put that in our savings account so we can go ahead and buy the TVs. I call the electrician so we can get some other stuff done. So, you know, I have like, hey, this is what it's going to cost us to get the TVs, and go from there. And the point of all of this, you know, even with that long drawn out, and I'll get to the point right now, is essentially people pay you money to solve an issue, to solve a problem. Not because they can't do it themselves, not because they can't figure it out, not always, but simply put, they can go off, make more money doing something else, and then still get service done and progress in other areas. The reason I say this is simply because I went ahead and did what I had asked him to do. And it's not because I couldn't do it. It's because I didn't have the time to. And if I was to really be honest, one, he could do a better job than me. He could do it a lot faster than me. But I can also take the hour it took to drive down there, 30 minutes it took to drive back home, because I drove there after my night job, which is an hour away from the shop. And then, you know, drove back home, shorter distance. And then the 2 hours that I actually had to deal with, the 2 hours, about 2 hours or so to like put everything together and do some other stuff at the shop. But I could have actually taken that time and said, all right, I can write a program, write a script, or, you know, progress in my other projects, plan on something else, or just say, screw it, play some video games, relax my mind, get ready for the week coming. And then also, you know, go to sleep or something like that, get some rest. So like that, and that's very valuable to me. So like, you know, I'm working with customers where I'm making 50 to 125 an hour. And I'm getting more customers on the 125 an hour side, in the triple digit side. I got customers that are growing out of the 75 to the $100 side. So I can just sit at home, make more money, and the $100 that he gave back or refunded, I can make that in less than an hour. And you have to understand, and not to be rude, but like, know your place. I know my place with my customers. If I do the work that they don't want to do, or they really can't do as well even, then if I do that work, then I can get paid what I think it's handsomely. And then I can take that money and, you know, buy a salon, start another business, do more development work on something else, and go on from there. But it's like some people don't understand their place and the importance of knowing your place. And I'm not trying to be rude when I say that, but really that's what it is. It is what it is. Don't get mad, don't get pissed. Just try and get to a better place, get to a better level. get to an area that you feel that is a little bit better, where you're like, oh, okay, you know, this is what it is, and this is what I want to do, or this is what I can do, and this is within my realm of possibilities or my wheelhouse, until I get to the point where it's like, all right, oh, I can take this money and start getting into real estate or to other projects and things like that. So it's the same thing I would say for him. It's like, all right, well, it's not that I couldn't do the work that he was saying, and I did it. And, you know, I told my business partner was like, man, you probably did it better. And I was just like, yeah, I did, because I was satisfied with the work. And I just look at this and I see people get mad and butthurt over just people saying, hey, listen, I expect you to do this. I am paying you to do this. Whether the money is little or not, you agree to it. I need you to finish the job. I need you to get the work done. I need you to, you know, take my instructions that I give you that are just direct and just, I want to say explicit, but I think that's wrong, or implicit. I think that's the wrong word. But I expect this work to be done in this fashion. You rescheduled on me and said, hey, listen, I'll show up on Friday I prefer that you're there to see the work being done. And I'm like, okay. And I showed up on Friday, but you didn't show up. You forgot. Now, somehow, when I call you out on it and say, hey, listen, man, I'm getting this type of pressure because you didn't show up. Now you're going to get mad and say, screw you. Here's your money. You did this in the past. And now, you know, now screw you. Here's your money. Don't ever call me. Lose my number. Literally, that's what he said. Lose my number, please. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know, there's other handymen out there. And the worst part is, I call him a crackhead, but my business partner says what this guy does, he puts some other shit on his weed. But the other guy that does work with my business partner, that's the guy he's competing against. And that guy shows up. You just got to give him a ride. And he gets work done all the same, and he gets it done cheaper. You get what you pay for, obviously. But he doesn't do the same level of work as the previous carpenter, or the carpenter that I'm talking about. And I know that. And that's why I don't call the other guy, because the other guy pisses me off. So now I can't call either one of them. I'm going to find some. But at the same time, they're not the only carpenters out here. I can call my daddy to do the work. But again, you know, I got away from my dad. You know, my dad will put me at a lower priority in terms of the work that, you know, that's going to pay him versus the work he's not going to really charge his son for, even though his son will pay him to do it. So it's like, these are the things we're looking at, but, you know, you got to know your place, because if you don't know your place, then it's harder for you to move up. And a lot of people think that they're higher than they are, than their station, and they're not. And I'm not saying it's okay to stay in your station and that's it. You know, there's nothing else that you can do. I'm just saying, once you know your place, you know where you can move from that point and get to a different area in your life. And I see it so many times that people think that they're bigger than they are, where it's just like, you know, this is a company, or I deal work with companies that have millions of dollars in the bank. They can get somebody else. They only stick with me because they like me and I've worked with them for so long. And a lot of times it's like, you know, in some ways I feel that I abuse that trust, in the sense that I abuse that trust in the sense that they're very patient with me. And then sometimes I have to slap myself straight and be like, yo, listen, they can replace you at any freaking time. They can go out and pay somebody else more money and get a bigger team and just say, screw you, Mike, don't talk to us anymore. Just like this guy did to me, and just like I could have done to him. So the point of all of this, to summarize, I should say, that was the point. But to summarize, understand your place. And knowing your place is not a bad thing, but it's a way to gauge and measure where you are in life and get to a better place. And then also understand that you can be fucking replaced. And some people have you do things not because they can't do it themselves. It's just that they make more money if you do it. As always, thank you very much. Let me go into my night job, because, you know, it's not like my employer could, you know, not get somebody else. It's just that they make more money if I just stay. And I make good money here. and fuck this place because I'm going to be out of here in a couple months. Alrighty, as always, thank you very much. Peace.